Hey guys, so I promised you in the last video a quick card. I've got 2 of these coming up, so hopefully I can do this in under 18 minutes, which is how long my camera seems to want to live for. So, which makes editing that much easier. So I have a sponge brayer and I have Old Olive for Stampin' Up. That's the ink I'm going to use. I have a sentiment from, this kind of goes back a few years. I believe she doesn't sell them anymore, but this is from Robin, aka My Pink Stamper. So Robin, if you're watching, how'd you do? It was lame, sorry. But anybody in the craft world, well, most people in the craft world will know who I'm talking about. I don't know about everybody, because, you know, there's a lot of people in the world. Anyway. So, My Pink Stamp, and I'm going to use Happy Boo Day. I have also got a piece of Old Olive, which is cut to 8. Now on these, I've done them a little bit differently. Or have I? Oh, I can't remember. I think this is 8.5 by 5.5. The folded in half is 5.5 by 4.25. Have I done that right? Oh my god. I think. I then have a piece of, this is actually acrylic paper, and I've just cut that down so that it fits to 4 by, well, there it looks a bit squonk. Oh no, that's alright. 4 by 5.25, and I've embossed it in our Lucky Stars, Stampin' Up! Lucky Stars embossing folder. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that. Well, there you go. Embossing folder. I then used the Spellbinders large scallop circle and the large scallop and regular circle to die cut these two so that they could layer on top of each other. This paper comes from a paper stack called, can't think what it's called. It's also in the new Stampin' Up! Annual catalogue, and it's the Playful Palette, I think that's what it's called. And so I just used a coordinating colour. This is a bit of now retired, I believe, Stampin' Up! Ribbon. I'm just trying to use up the bits that I have. Any ribbon will work. You can use twine, doesn't matter. And then this guy, I again was playing around with some of the acrylic paper. I used a stencil. I have these little stencils with owls on them, and I thought they'd be perfect for Halloween cards. So I stenciled it on, or an autumn card, using texture paste. And then what I did was I dumped, technical word, dumped some, this is actually it's basically like ultra thick embossing powder, so UT embossing powder, but this is a one of Debbie Moore's Metal Magic, I think it's called, and it's really cool. You see that shiny, and it basically, when you melt it, well, when you first put it on, whether you've used an ink or I tried it with some texture paste, you can't flick it and tap it off because it will just fall off, because the granules are so big. So that's with all UT or ultra thick embossing powders. So what you have to do is dump it on, technical term, and then just tip it off. And then gently get rid of the bits that you don't want. You don't want to tap it, you don't want to flick it, it will just fall off. Right. Probably the better way to emboss it is to emboss from underneath, because that way you're not going to blow all that embossing powder off it as you're trying to melt it. I wasn't bothered how it was going to work. I was experimenting. So it landed up being, not only did it dry, because I'm impatient, not only did it dry the texture paste, but it also melted my embossing powder. And it will bubble and it will, do some fun stuff. But that's what it does. If I'd done it from the back, it would have been smoother. There probably would have been less of this pittedness, but I wasn't worried about that. But what I am going to do to that, if I can find something to work on, Oh, I'll just use this. I'm going to ink around the edge. So I'm just going to take my ink pad and I'm just going to go like so around the edges. I'm not worried about whether it's neat, tidy, under control, who cares. Oh. It's a Halloween card. This is fun stuff. Oh, can you see it? Oh yeah, you can see that. But I am also leaving that middle somewhat open because I don't want it to be so... if you leave that open it looks like it's glowing, which I think is kind of cool. So I'll just get this going. Because I kind of went a bit heavy-handed on that bit there, I thought I may as well do that. That's it. I'm also going to do this on this whole piece. Most of this is going to be covered, so I figured I'm just going to take this on all of it and check it. You won't need to do the centre of it because most of it's going to be covered by your main image. Now because these are water-based inks, you could splatter some water, and because this is acrylic paper, you could use watercolour paper as well. It will have that, it will be able to handle water. So I'm not going to do that I don't think today, but that's the blending bit done. Out of the way. So they've got the middle bit open, but you're not going to see that, so that doesn't matter. So let's see. So first of all I want this guy on here. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get off. What do I want to do this bit first? Right, I'm going to do this bit first. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure out where I want everything. I haven't totally planned this out. Yeah. Right, sorry about that, that was my husband sneaking up the stairs. It's bedtime for the cats. For the animals. Right, so I am just going to chuck this around here. Now tape would have been handier, but I haven't got tape. So we're just going to go with this. So I've just got a piece of ribbon wrapped around there, somewhat straight. Right. My husband's trying to get the cat without making a noise. That's so funny. Right, so I think I'm just going to have that flat. There. And I'm just going to stick this off to the side. No rhyme or reason, just I thought it would look kind of neat if there was a bit more of that sticking out. Right, this guy, Ugh, ink. I'm just gonna stick some. Oh, come back. Yeah, that's a lot of adhesive. Need to move this one. Ugh. Flip it over and cut these bits off if I can. Right, sorry about that. So what I did was I laid them over the edge of the cardstock and then just trimmed them off. Can't remember where I stopped. So yes, so that's what big scissors are for. And the other thing that I did was I went back with my ink dabber, dauber, whatever you call these things. I can never say that word. And I just went along this edge as well, because when you've cut it off, you're going to have all that white or cream cardstock exposed again. So I just went along that edge to finish that off. Now, this whole panel is going to go onto a piece of Old Olive. This is the card base. That's what I'm trying to say. If I can get my words out. Oh, this thing doesn't work so well on here. And I'm just going to line that up. Somewhat straight. And I know you're all wondering where the sentiment is. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I don't normally do this part of a card. I don't normally do anything to the inside of a card, but I'm actually going to put the sentiment on the inside. And you can put it anywhere. You can what was I going to say? You can use some of the elements from your main card and put them on the inside so that they're similar if you want. I'm just going to do this. Like I say, I don't normally put sentiments on the inside. I usually leave that as a space to write. So because it's, well, actually, am I going to get this straight? I should use my Stampin' Majig, that would work. Just going to eyeball it. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Ta-da! And that I stamped in the Old Olive ink. So that's giving you like a tone on tone look. So there you go. Simple. I know I put a lot of the elements together beforehand, and the main thing was to talk to you about how I did this. But you could do that with any stencil that you have. So yeah, there you go. Have a great day, guys. Bye.